Hey guys, this is the Betamax Man. This is an exciting video that you all have been waiting for. So we're finally doing the repair of a customer's S600, which is a Sony Super Betamax VCR. Now with this machine, the reason we're going to show you here, but the take-up and supply reels don't turn. And I'm going to explain to you why, and I'm going to show you why, and we're going to fix it here in just a little bit. But let me put the cassette in. Now if we hit play, we don't have any movements of the take-up and supply reels, and you can see the counter is not moving. Now pause. If we pause, we do get a picture, so we get a still frame. So we will actually be able to restore this thing, and I'm going to show you what happens and why. And as you can see, of course, it's going to eat the tape because the reels are not turning. I'm going to go ahead and unplug it. So on this particular one, this was Sony's first of the 711 B3 chassis. This is the, I call the B31. The B31 uses the capstan to drive the capstan and drives the take-up and supply reels. And so that the capstan fails. Now the most common problem on why this capstan motor fails is because the capacitors on the circuit board that controls the capstan goes bad. That's it. That's basically what happens. Now sometimes you can replace the capacitors and it will restore the motor, and sometimes you can't. We may or may not have to replace the motor. I do have another motor that I can put in here that does work, but we're going to see if we can get this one working. So we're going to restore it, and I'm pretty sure if there's not too bad of corrosion, depending on how much damage the capacitors have caused, because the capacitors are actually surface mounted caps and they leak, and all of the electrolytic spills out causes corrosion on the traces. It can damage the traces that are going to the coils. So the number one reason why these particular machines, where you hit play, you'll see the play light illuminated. You think the machine is playing when in fact it's not, where the machine is actually just not doing, the take-up and supply reels are not even turning, the capstan's not turning, but it appears to be playing, and there's no picture on the screen because of course the tape is not moving through the machine. So a lot of people think that, oh, it is playing a tape, but I got no picture. Well, why? That's weird. So they end up selling them on eBay for parts for repair. So I'm going to show you how to fix this problem. Now with this particular model, this was made back in 1990. This was the 15th anniversary Betamax. They advertised it being a 15th anniversary. And we're going to flip this thing over. I've already loosened the screws in the back. So all you have to do with this, you don't even have to take the screws out. You can just loosen the screw. You loosen the screws and this panel will actually pop off. So you just lift and then pull back on the panel here. And the panel just lifts right off. And as you can see, this particular capstan motor only has one capacitor, and this surface mounted electrolytic went completely open, and that's what's causing the capstan motor not to run. Now sometimes the IC goes bad, but it's pretty rare that the IC goes bad. More than likely, it's always this little capacitor. Sometimes this little sensor goes bad and can cause the capstan not to move. But the main reason is this bad cap. And we'll take this cap out and then we'll do a measurement. We'll actually test it on my multimeter and we'll see if it's open, because I bet you this cap has went completely open, and that's what's causing the issue. So it's usually what you do with these, you just give them a little twist and they'll come off. So I'm actually going to take the screw out, because we're going to take this bracket off. I'm going to take this bracket off so that I can get the capstan motor apart. So we'll just take that one off. Just like that. This little plastic clip here, this just clips off. Now they put that there to keep the belt from jumping off, because it does have a tendency to do that. As you can see, if we turn the capstan, you will actually see the reels turn. This is just to prove to you that if we turn this, you can see on the other side here that we're gonna move the reels. You see that? See how I'm turning? Now I'm turning the capstan here, right? Okay. So you can see how it's turning the reel. So that's what happens. The capstan motor dies and causes it to no longer work. We're going to pull this part of the motor out. This has got the magnet on it. This is a magnetized motor. So we're going to move the motor there, because that way when I go to remove this capacitor, that it will not, that when I go to put a new cap in, I won't take a chance of accidentally touching it with my iron. Because if you touch it with your soldering iron, you will ruin the motor. So usually you just take the little pliers and you can just give them a little twist and they'll come off. just like that. So we gave it a little twist. So we got these little pads. Now you can see there's some pads. And I'm sorry this is kind of dark because I'm doing this. This is Friday night. But these little pads here, I can see corrosion on them already. But what I'm going to do is clean those pads, and I'm going to clean them with some rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip. Clean the pads. I'm going to put a little bit of solder on each of the pads. And then, so we gotta figure out, let's see, what was, I think, yeah, the negative, I gotta remember where the negative and the positive is. So, okay, so yeah, so the square was, it would have been like, would have been like that. So it means that my negative is going to be on this side here. That's, the negative is over there. And I just cut my finger from the edge of the lid, or the cover here, this little metal cover. The edges are very sharp, and I moved my finger across the edge and cut my finger. But yeah, so the negative side is going to be on this side over here. And so we're going to get my soldering iron out. Now I bet you if we do a test on that, this thing is going to register completely open. I'm positive that this is gonna be completely open. So when I was putting some solder on the pad, I could smell that really bad fishy odor. But as you can see, I have put some solder, fresh solder, on the pads, and I'm going to attach my new electrolytic capacitor. So I've got the prongs bent so that I can just kind of touch it, and I'm going to melt the solder, and we're going to touch it, and we're going to connect it. So this is something I forgot to tell you, but these are 16 volts at 47 microfarad. So I have a 25 volt. I don't have a 16. I thought I did, but I don't have any in stock. So what I'm going to do is use a 25 volt. You can go up a little bit on the voltage. It is a 16 volt originally, but we are going to go with a 25 volt, which is not, it's not too terribly high. Okay guys, there's my new cap. There's something you might not see on camera, but there is some yellowing. I was going to show you the Q-tip, how dirty it is, but there's a little bit of yellowing, and that yellowing is because of the electrolytic that was inside the cap that had leaked out. And I could smell that fishy smell when I was applying solder to the pads. And what I did was I heated it up, put some solder on those pads, and basically I heated up the solder and just kind of held it there for a little while to try to burn off any of the excess electrolytics that might still be there. But the alcohol pretty much took care of most of that nasty electrolytic that had leaked out. And you know, you can see that I've got some really nice clean solder, and you can see how I've attached the leads. So this is a, you know, a low profile capacitor, low profile, which is nice. So now that I am done with my soldering iron, all I'm going to do now is we're going to reinstall the motor. While you have, while you have this motor out, it's a good idea to clean the capstan. Now this capstan looks pretty clean. I don't think that there's been a whole lot of, I don't think this machine has had a whole lot of use. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and clean this, and then I'm going to put it back in place. Okay, so everything is put back together, and now we're going to put the cover on, and because I'm pretty sure that this is going to repair it. And I may have to take the bottom panel back off because I'm gonna be, well, actually, yeah, I will have to take it back off because I'm gonna do a service on the real table motor assembly. But okay, first test. Alright, let's see what happens here. And it's gonna work. And we gotta adjust the tracking. There we go. Okay, well, she works. We still got a long way to go though, because we gotta do a full service. So we got the repair part taken care of, but now we gotta do a full service. Now let's see, do we have any audio? Yeah. So now it is working. And we'll have to clean the heads as well, but let's just check forward here. Okay, rewind. That's somewhat okay with rewind. Alright. So the picture is not as good as I would like it to be, so we're gonna have to work on that. It's probably just caps in the head amp that are starting to go pooping out because the picture doesn't look that good, but it may not be showing up on camera. So this thing does have slow motion. So I think if we hit, let's see, where is slow? Right there. So there's our slow motion. Now there's probably an adjustment here. Okay, there's an adjustment here for. Well, that's about as good as you're gonna get, really, on a digital TV. For slow-mo.
Hey, leave them cows alone. Poke your eye out.
Yeah, I'll poke your fucking eye out. Yeah, you little bastard. Oh, this is, what is this, Lantern Hill? I haven't seen this movie yet, but this is just a test tape. I actually have 4 or 5 of these sealed, so one of them was used as a test tape, and the other one is going to be in my personal collection. Because I got a lot of tapes, but the tracking, I would like to see if we can get the tracking to be a little bit better too, because if it's in the middle, the tracking is slightly off, but it could be this tape.
How dare you talk like that to me? Who is it? Pest.
No pestier than you are. Trying to cause trouble between her mum and dad. Helping you marry your precious Evelyn Morrow.
What are you talking about? You're one of the first things.
There we go.
All I know is that you drove like a flipping disaster. Right over the cliff.
Yeah, right over the damn cliff. So, I will go ahead and lower the volume here, because I don't want to get hit with a copyright, but just hope the copyright people don't don't hit me, because the dumbasses on YouTube apparently can't spot a real copyright infringement. So, see here. Because when you're demonstrating a VCR working, they shouldn't hit you with copyright when you're just demonstrating that the machine works. But apparently they do tend to like to do that, even if it's just a few seconds of content of a video. And I'm a little paranoid about it, because the last channel I had was taken down because I was hit with too many copyright violations, and so they took my channel down, and all my videos went with it. So, that was a few years ago, and I had to start my channel all over again. So, anyway, yeah, so it is working now, so let's just make sure that the eject is gonna work. Okay, there we go. So we still got some work to do on this, obviously, but I am going to probably do a recapping of the power supply, because this has got a switching power supply. Those switching power supplies always are known for having problems with the caps going bad, because Sony used Elna caps, and the Elna caps always go bad. Almost every time I check them, they're bad or starting to go bad. I've had so many leaky caps that were branded Elnas. Duralast is another brand that I don't like, that Sony used, and they were crap. So, we do want to I want to recap the power supply. I want to take a look at the head amp and see why the picture's got some noise in it. And then we want to do a servicing of the reel table motor. And I want to do a servicing of all the other components. We need to clean off any of the old grease and re-lube everything, re-grease everything. And we'll clean and oil what needs to be oiled. We'll clean and put more grease on the parts that need grease. And we'll just basically do a full, complete service of this thing, so that this thing will last for a long time. So that's basically the reasoning for this machine not working, is that the little 16 volt at 47 microfarad capacitor fails, and that's what causes the problem on these S600s as to why they won't play. And it's something that I've experienced over the years, and so I know what's going on with them. So I think that the owner, once I'm done with this machine, you know, I think the owner is going to be happy. But yeah, let's see if we can, let's see if we can get a close-up of the thing there. Yeah, they're 47 microfarad, 16 volt. So here we go. That's it. That's the shitty capacitor. That's what causes the problems. That's why these things won't play. So yeah, if you get a hold of one, chances are you replace that cap and it will work.